I've always thought of myself as a good parent. In the safe and quiet suburbs of Maplewood, my world revolved around my son, Ethan. The way his laughter filled our home, the sparkle in his eyes whenever he shared a new idea, was all I needed to feel like I was doing something right. Yet, somewhere beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. The whispers from neighbors came like shadows, accusations that lunged at our happiness. Spoiled, they said. Coddled. They were quick to judge my methods from the comfort of their well-manicured lawns. And though I tried to brush it off, it gnawed at me. "Mom, can I have the biggest birthday party ever?" Ethan asked one day, his enthusiasm overshadowing the hushed criticisms. I wanted him to experience joy, to feel special on his day, but what if that only fueled their judgments? I bit my lip, but ultimately, I relented. We threw the party of a lifetime, balloons dancing in the mid-June breeze, neighbors glaring through their kitchen windows. The days flew by, and while I participated in the drama of my neighbor's gossip, Ethan was quietly doing something remarkable. I never knew he preferred the quiet hum of his room, flipping through online tutorials about real estate, mastering intricacies I had no idea he was even interested in. I buried myself in my own doubts while he was building an empire. A few weeks later, everything changed. I returned home from grocery shopping, dragging a couple of bags behind me. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over Maplewood when I saw him standing confidently at the center of our cul-de-sac. The neighbors were gathering, restless whispers erupting like a wildfire. "What's going on?" I muttered under my breath, feeling a tension building in the air. "Guess what, everyone?" Ethan declared, his voice steady and sure. "I've bought several houses in town." A wave of disbelief swept over the crowd, collective gasps mingling with smirks of skepticism. "You can't be serious, Ethan," screamed Mrs. Green, the most outspoken critic of my parenting. "You're just a kid." But instead of responding with defiance, he smiled. "Actually, I am serious, and I want to help you all." The murmurs shifted from disbelief to intrigue. He continued, his voice unwavering. "I'll even pay your mortgage for a year." The shock was palpable. Jaws dropped and eyes widened, as if I had just witnessed this tender moment through a crack in the window, adding another layer to the mysteries that enveloped our lives. Who was this young man standing before us, confidently dismantling the very judgments placed upon him? "Ethan, how did you?" I began, but the look in his eyes stopped me. Now, the quiet town began to unravel its preconceptions, and I found myself standing at the brink of an unexpected journey. Did my son truly hold the keys to redefining our place in this community? And what secrets had he kept from me as he honed his craft? Before we unravel this tapestry of love and ambition, a quick alert for everyone: YouTube subscriptions have been disappearing lately. Check whether you're still subscribed and give us a thumbs up to keep supporting the channel. Now, let's delve deeper into this unexpected story. As the gasps of shock faded into a heavy silence, my heart raced with confusion and pride. What in the world was happening? Ethan stood rooted, exuding a confidence I had never seen before. I felt a surreal mixture of disbelief and admiration wash over me. It was as if a switch had flipped, turning my once timid son into a force of nature. "Ethan, wait, how did you manage to buy properties?" I implored, my voice a mere whisper among the gathered crowd. His eyes sparkled, reflecting not just the afternoon light, but a newfound determination. "I've been saving my allowance, investing in small things, learning everything I could." "I didn't want you to worry, Mom," he explained earnestly. There was an honesty in his words that pierced the cacophony of neighborhood judgment. It was in that moment I realized how little I had actually known about my son's aspirations, or the depth of his resourcefulness. Mrs. Green's brow furrowed, skepticism still looming like a thundercloud, overshadowing our community. "You, a child. You had help, right? This has to be a prank." Her attempted undermining felt like another jab at my parenting. Yet, Ethan stood firm, a serene smile gracing his lips as he replied, "No joke, Mrs. Green. Just a bit of hard work and dedication. I truly want to give back." The murmurs in the crowd had morphed from disbelief to admiration, curiosity twinkling in their eyes. I could feel the tide turning. This was more than just an unexpected announcement. It was an awakening. People were beginning to reassess what they thought they knew about both me and my son. At that moment, I couldn't shake the nagging questions that crept back into my mind. How much had Ethan kept hidden from me? What else did he know? My heart swelled with conflicting emotions, pride battling with a desperate need to understand his journey. You're changing things, Ethan. Our neighborhood, everyone is going to talk. Are you sure you're ready for this? I asked, my voice trembling softly. He looked straight into my eyes, a mix of reassurance and fervor shining through. Mom, they called me spoiled, but I want to show them that I'm capable of so much more. Those words hung in the air, a declaration that echoed with ambition. What happened next bewitched the neighborhood. With the wisdom of someone far beyond his years, Ethan began planning. Homes that once exuded tension transformed under his touch. Yard sales turned into investment seminars as he shared his knowledge, and community meetings gave way to brainstorming sessions on improving our town, all driven by the boy once labeled spoiled. Each day unfurled a new layer of intrigue. One house after another, Ethan worked diligently to weave a new fabric of trust within our community. All while I stood watch, grappling with the depth of my son's evolution. What had truly shaped him during those quiet nights when I thought he was just playing video games or scrolling through his phone? Join me next time as we peel back the layers surrounding Ethan's secret journey, from the struggles that fueled his ambition to the people who mentored him unknowingly. Trust me, you won't want to miss the surprises that lay ahead. Let's discover together how this young man revised the narrative of a spoiled kid into a true community hero. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, I felt a sense of urgency swell within me. Ethan was transforming our quiet cul-de-sac, but what intrigued me most was his meticulously held secret, a burning curiosity about what truly inspired his drive. I stood on the porch, the chill of the evening air wrapping around me, and watched as he talked with our neighbors, each animated discussion drawing them closer to him. Their skepticism was thawing, replaced by an unexpected warmth and interest. Mom, I can show you how it all works, he called out to me, his tone a mixture of pride and excitement. I want you to see it too. I hesitated but felt a pull, a yearning to understand this astonishing transformation. What had prompted him to dive into the complicated world of real estate? How did he manage to keep it hidden from me or anyone, for that matter? Curiosity gnawed at my thoughts, growing stronger with every passing moment. Ethan, wait, what do you mean? I asked, stepping off the porch. The crowd quieted, eyes now darting between us, hungry for more. Where did you even learn all of this? He smiled, a flicker of mischief lighting his eyes. Remember that time I borrowed your laptop for a school project? It wasn't just a project. My heart raced as I recalled the moment. In those weeks, I had chalked his late-night flickering screen up to schoolwork. But now I realized those were secrets being cultivated under the guise of innocent chores. I stumbled upon a podcast about real estate and got hooked. I've been watching videos, reading articles. All of it started as a hobby. Mom, I wanted to learn something that could change my life, and maybe others too. Shocked gasps echoed around us. Mrs. Green, her brows raised high in disbelief, openly questioned, "Did you think it was appropriate to hide this from your mother? No wonder she thought you were spoiled." But Ethan didn't budge, his confidence remained resolute. I wanted to surprise her, to prove I could achieve something meaningful. I didn't want her to worry. My heart swelled with a mix of emotions, pride, confusion, and an unquenchable need to unravel the truth. Ethan, you have to share this knowledge. You're inspiring people. What can you teach them? And just like that, the collective murmur shifted, curiosity bubbling into excitement. What if we have workshops? You could teach everyone. Someone shouted from the back of the crowd, and suddenly, a chorus of support erupted. Absolutely. We can start our first session this weekend, Ethan exclaimed, and cheers rang out like a symphony. I watched, my heart squeezing at the sight of my son serendipitously captivating our community, bridging gaps formed by judgment and misunderstandings. Yet, as their voices cheered in encouragement, one thought struck me. Was I truly ready for this new chapter? The journey swung open, inviting doubt alongside endless possibilities. What lay beyond this budding community spirit? Was there something Ethan had yet to reveal that could change everything for us both? As the night settled in, Ethan approached me, the exuberance still dancing in his expression. "Mom, I want to show you the first property I purchased. It's my favorite." The pride in his voice was contagious, a beacon piercing through the fog of uncertainty that had shrouded our neighborhood. I glanced at the scattered, yet intrigued faces of our neighbors. "All right, Ethan, let's see what you've been up to." And as we prepared to leave for the property he'd transformed into a hub of potential, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. There were whispers of deeper connections unfolding, secrets waiting to be told, and lessons yet to be learned. Together, we stepped into the night, leaving behind the shadows of judgment. What awaited us would define not just Ethan's journey, but also my understanding of what a spoiled child truly means. Stay tuned as we dive into the heart of it all, revealing the unexpected mentors and challenges that emerged from the shadows, shaping the extraordinary path that brought my son to this moment. You won't want to miss the revelations that await. In the quiet suburban town of Maplewood, I've always taken pride in what I thought were my exceptional parenting skills. Yet, beneath that surface lay a brewing storm, fueled by whispers and judgments that seemed to echo off every well-manicured lawn. Spoiled, they said, coddled. I brushed it off, thinking it was simple jealousy, but as time passed, their words began to gnaw at my self-assuredness. Then came that fateful day when everything changed. I stood at the edge of our cul-de-sac, my heart heavy with uncertainty, as my son Ethan declared, "I've bought several houses in town." His voice rang out strong and confident, a stark contrast to the fluttering uncertainty waging war in my heart. The neighbors gasped, their skepticism palpable. Mrs. Green, in all her judgmental glory, couldn't hold back her disbelief. "You can't be serious. You're just a kid." But there he stood, not flinching before the audience that questioned his very existence. "Actually, I am serious, and I want to help you all," he replied, sealing his words with an earnestness that turned my apprehension into burgeoning pride. What Ethan did next transformed our neighborhood. As whispers of his success began to electrify the air, I noticed how people there started to question their judgments about who my son was and, by extension, who I was as a parent. It was as if a veil had been ripped away, and they were finally seeing the boy behind all the labels they had so hastily pinned on him. Did my son really have this power to shift perceptions, simply by existing in his own magnificent way? I had long thought that parenting was about instilling values, but here he was, demonstrating those values in ways I had never imagined. His initiative bloomed into community meetings, yard sales that turned into educational ventures, all while I stood in the shadows, confused and awed. But mystery shrouded my son's journey. How had he garnered the knowledge that led him to this moment? What fueled his ambition, hidden in those evenings when he quietly delved into the depths of real estate and finance? "Well, how did you do it, Ethan?" I finally blurted out, feeling a deep need to understand. I watched as he took a breath, his stewarding of dreams and aspirations around him nearly tangible. "I've been learning for months," he said. "It all started when I found some podcasts about real estate. They opened a whole new world for me." As he spoke, I felt walls of misunderstanding, slowly but surely, crashing down between us, brick by brick. I was crossing a threshold, stepping into the unknown depths of his ambitions, a place I had never ventured before. A reality where parental knowledge was replaced with revelations that stung with bittersweet confusion. "That's impressive, Ethan," I exclaimed, masking any hint of shock. The pride I felt was pooling in my chest. "Have you thought about how you'll handle the responsibilities that come with it?" "Of course," he fired back, eyes shining with a fierce determination. "That's the exciting part. I want to show our community that real estate isn't just about buying and selling, it's about transforming lives. I felt a newfound connection bloom, like wildflowers pushing through cracks in the concrete. He was not just my son anymore. He appeared poised to take on the world, unraveling biases and judgments that followed us both. As the town creaked open like an old door, awaiting revelation, I couldn't help but wonder how deeply hidden our collective potential lay. But there was still something behind Ethan's eyes, an unspoken urgency paired with excitement. Could I follow along as he guided our neighbors through his transformation of their misconceptions single-handedly? Would I be able to embrace the learner's path alongside him? Then came the offer that took my breath away. "Mom, I want to show you my favorite property. I think you'll understand my vision." My heart raced. With every word, I was invited into an unfamiliar territory that both thrilled and terrified me. Yet, as we drove through Maplewood, my mind juggled anxious thoughts. Who had inspired him along the way? And what lessons could I learn from him now? And how would the community respond? Were they ready to embrace this newfound path marvelously mapped out by my son? I wondered how far we could venture together into unknown territories. Arriving at the property, which had initially looked worn and overlooked, I quickly recognized it transforming under Ethan's spirited perspective. "I envision a community center here," he said, enthusiasm spilling from his voice. "A place where we can hold workshops, share knowledge, and bond as a neighborhood." Stepping inside, I could almost feel his dreams lifting off the walls. There were remnants of what once was cracked pictures, faded paint, but his energetic vision painted over that decay, with strokes of connection and vibrancy. I blinked back deep emotions as I started to grasp the magic he was weaving. "Ethan, this is incredible," I finally managed, my voice filled with awe. "You really mean this?" "Absolutely," he replied, the fervor in his eyes revealing so much more than I had ever unraveled about him. "We can change lives together. I want our neighbors to know what they're capable of too. It's about more than just real estate, it's community." In that moment of revelation, I felt a deep bond shift between us. He was no longer just my child. I realized he was a force of nature, eager to redefine the narratives that had once shrouded his existence in doubts and judgments. But as revelations continued to unfold, I remembered the lingering questions that cast shadows over our journey. What other layers existed within Ethan's budding ambition? Would our neighborhood fully embrace his incredible vision, or would remnants of skepticism cling to the edges of this potential transformation? Join me in the next chapter where we uncover Ethan's hidden mentors, individuals who had unknowingly inspired him, and how they might intertwine into this story of rebirth and connection. The intricate web of dreams awaits us. I promise you won't want to miss a moment of this journey. The path ahead is pregnant with possibility, and as the sun set behind the transformative property, I couldn't help but wonder what the night would reveal next. Stay tuned and be ready. As it turns out, this was just the beginning of Ethan's incredible story. As the days turned into weeks, our neighborhood began to buzz with energy unlike anything Maplewood had ever seen. I watched in awe as Ethan organized workshops, inviting neighbors to learn about real estate, finance, and even entrepreneurship. His infectious enthusiasm slowly melted away the remnants of judgment that had once lingered, revealing a community on the brink of transformation. One weekend, as we set up for a workshop, Mrs. Green approached with a tentative smile. "Ethan," she began, her voice softer than it had ever been, "I owe you an apology. I misjudged not only you, but your mother too. This is inspiring." "Thank you, Mrs. Green," Ethan replied genuinely. "I just wanted to show everyone that there's more to life than being defined by labels." In that moment, I realized the significance of Ethan's mission. It wasn't just about the properties. It was about redefining what it meant to belong in a community. As neighbors flocked to our gatherings, I labored not just as a supportive mom, but as a learner, absorbing the lessons Ethan imparted. The first workshop concluded on a high note, filled with laughter and camaraderie. I could see it in their eyes. Hope, a vision of a unified Maplewood danced in their minds, and I felt tears of joy spill down my cheeks. This was not just Ethan's journey. It was ours, a shared rebirth woven through the threads of acceptance. However, a lingering thought gripped me. Behind Ethan's confidence lay a secret ambition that felt like a puzzle piece waiting to be revealed. "Ethan," I began one evening as we reflected on our day, "I know you've been doing this for a while now, but what inspired you to keep it a secret from me?" He looked thoughtful, a silent battle playing out in his eyes. "Mom, I didn't want to burden you with worry. I thought you'd see me as just a kid playing pretend, but I wanted to show you, to earn your pride." In that heart-stopping moment, I saw my son not merely as a reflection of my parenting, he stood before me as a young man with courage and depth, transcending my every expectation. I reached out and embraced him tightly, a blend of pride and love surging through me. "Ethan, you have exceeded every dream I ever had for you." As we embraced, I took a deep breath, understanding the true essence of our transformed lives. Perhaps it was not about me being the perfect parent, but supporting Ethan's journey in discovering who he truly was. Looking towards the future, I felt a shift deep within. The truth of our shared experience was starting to resonate. There was power in humility, potential in questions, and boundless strength in community. As I prepared myself for what lay ahead, a profound realization struck me. Labels like spoiled were merely misconceptions clinging to ignorance. As our neighborhood flourished, I invited you all, dear viewers, to join us on this incredible journey of transformation. Subscribe to be part of our evolving story, where dreams have no limits and community knows no bounds. Your support is what helps these stories thrive together. Let's redefine the narratives and celebrate every ambition our kids aspire to achieve. Thank you for joining us on this journey. The best is yet to come.